Split the defense.
What up? Split the Defense Hockey Podcast, Leafs post-game reaction episode with the crew, CP and producer Ted. I'm Jordan Webster. We just finished up together watching the Leafs in OT. What a heartbreaker. OT again. It has to be OT, and every episode that we record from now on, there's going to be OT. So we're going to get a point for every game for the rest of the year. At least get a point because
we got like
we're
60
now
points
recording
coming.
after. Yeah, at least, because if we're going to record, they're going to go late. So that's how it's going to be. Pasternak, he has got to be the story of the night for me because, like, this guy, I mean, he didn't score the winner, but he was the one who goes down on the break at the end. He scores the first goal. The Leafs, I mean, they have a whole bunch of stars, but, like, even Austin Matthews, like, is he as good as Pasternak? Should that guy be up in the conversation of, like, best player? He's a pure shooter, sure, and I'm sure he has his moments and warts, but, God, every time he plays the Leafs, it feels like he's the number one player in the league, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's always on against the Leafs. But isn't everyone, you guys always say that, everyone plays their best against the Leafs. And when
that's
Pasternak
because
is at
they
his
do.
best, he's
Yeah.
dangerous. Yeah.
Well, everyone does play their best, Ted against the Leafs. But like, I wouldn't even say Pass is just a shooter because like he set up the second goal too, just a like filthy sauce through the zone. I'm not sure that should have made it through the zone, but Pasta's he's do I think he's better than Austin Matthews at his best? Definitely not. Just based on Austin being a centerman, but.
Austin had 2 tonight, and I say it like that. Like, I don't know, man. It just kills me. Just every time the puck is on this guy's stick, it is so scary. And he always seems to get these breakaway opportunities, more-esque like Nylander, but he's just such a lethal shooter. Like, he puts it in the back, and then when he doesn't, he makes great plays like the OT winner where he chips it back in front and Marchand grabs it, tucks it into the net. I mean, it's gut-wrenching is the right word. When he gets the puck, you're like, oh, no.
Yeah, and did you hear that he wants to play for free? That's what he says. He doesn't want his contract. He'd rather play for free, but still makes $12 million or something like that. So,
11
but yeah, he's I hate him because he's a Bruin, but God, he's a good player. It's tough to really hate him because I just love talent in the league. What a player he is. He's everyone was saying that like the Bruins were led by Bergeron, and definitely to a sense that like he was their captain, of course, and probably in the locker room, kind of a quiet guy though, and just played more of a defensive style of game, but. Pasta's, I think, the guy that is the reason why they've continued to be what they are, and just like when you haven't lost your best scorer and probably your best player, like everyone's writing off the Bruins because they lost Bergeron, but they haven't lost their best player, maybe not even their second best because Marchand's still on the team. Like yes, Bergeron was a great player, and so was Krejci, but like still, this team's littered with. Like they're probably still weak down the middle, but still a great team.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Leafs go down early tonight, as usual. It wasn't really early. It was like 7.5 minutes into the game. The Leafs went down. Pasternak scored first. Anyways, was the whole point. The Leafs are going down all the time. The stats are showing and have shown for years that the team who scores first wins more games. The Leafs really need to clean up the whole start on time. It's been like so many years of the same topic. Start on time. How do we still have this conversation in the year 2023 with this same group of Maple Leafs to like just get up and go early? Like they've been children for so long. They're children. They're young. Like have some get up and go. Go get it. Like it seems like they save their best hockey for the end of the game because they're just going to out-stamina the other team, and they're going to make everybody work really hard all game, and they're going to outlast. And that's great, and they've been keeping themselves in it. They've been getting to overtime. But, like, really, this isn't a recipe to win, man. This isn't a way that you can go forward and be impressed with the team. Anybody who's not on the team and actually getting the points and the wins, because that feels good and it feels like you're doing your part. Anybody else watching this, even management, coaching, who's not on the ice, and fans are like, we can see and we should see and make adjustments because it's not working. This is not working. Like, tonight wasn't great as an all-around game. It really just wasn't.
Right. And like it's a 2-period game. Like you say that they don't start on time, but when they do, they don't finish the game properly and they blow a 4-1 lead. So like it's not about do they start on time, or it's about can they play a full 60 minutes, because whether they start or finish on time, they didn't do the other one.
I know, and it seems to be more they're not starting on time. They do finish on time a lot. It's crazy when you see them come out with a 6-on-5, and that's like they're actually trying. And I almost hesitated to say it because it's been said so many times. Like, now, oh, that's how good you actually are? Like, oh, nice to see you show up now. Like, could you not fucking play like that for the other 59 minutes? It just drives me up the wall when you're that good and you know you're that much better. Turn it on. Like, turn it on and play hard. Wear yourself out. Like, if you're up by 4 goals and you're wearing yourself out, let fucking Camp go out there and rag it for 20 minutes. Like, I don't care. I don't care if Camp skates 16 minutes because you guys have put 4 extra on the board. Like, go out there and try early and score first. Like, I mean, so Pasternak scores first. Shattenkirk makes it 2-0. And, like, Shattenkirk he kind of had a dip. Like, he really had a revival in his career because, like, he really seems to have come back in the last couple of years. And I take that with a grain of salt. Anybody can take that with a grain of salt because that is a lot for my fantasy watching. But the guy's still got it. Like, he still puts points up. And he gets in those opportunities. Like, coaches obviously see it. That he is playing in power play time, sometimes top power play time. And he does well, right? So he had made a sweet goal tonight. Like, do we have any defensemen that's not named Morgan Riley that could do that? And they have, like, McAvoy and Lindholm as well. That defense core is just so stacked for the Bruins. It's not even fair.
Yeah, it's definitely the majority of the reason why they're still good. Nothing's changed there on the back end, right? And so they were a great defensive team last year. It's the same decor. So, yeah, of course they're going to be good again in the next year. It's just like all these things that we overlooked with the Bruins, right? And it's just they are still a good team, and it's shocking to go with Shattenkirk there. Like, he's a guy who, he had like more of a scoring upside in his career, and everyone thought about him that way. And in St. Louis, he was more of just like a defensive shutdown guy. You know, like there was no need for him to do any more. And it seems like now he's kind of like it's a flash from the first few years of his career now, but. A great defenseman all around. I don't think that he's like a guy that has lost it, even though he wasn't putting up points. He's always still been a great defenseman.
His stock definitely went down.
Yeah,
the Kevin Shattenkirk stock went down because he was a great defenseman when he got traded from St. Louis. Noted, and everybody paid attention to him. And then there was a dip, and then he's really just resurged. Like, he's come back and he's playing well, especially in Boston. Of course, it's Boston, right?
Yeah.
Like, if any player is going to come
say,
back
I love
and
all
play
this
well,
praise
it's going
for
to be in
Boston.
Yeah.
Listen to you guys.
I mean, it drives me nuts. It drives me like hands down. Like, you have to respect the organization. I hate the organization. Can't wait to have Matt Berry on and talk about the Boston Bruins, our Boston insider. But that won't be tonight. It'll be another episode. But I really loathe that team just because of all the losses and the rivalries and the big moments and the players and the licking of Leo Komarov and like all sorts of things. Like, I mean, like everything way back and way down. I don't like these Boston Bruins, man.
Yeah, like it's more I love their culture. And like because ever since Chara basically came to their team, like they've built a Chara there. They built a culture there. And it seems like it doesn't matter who's there. Like, Chara's been gone for how long, but they still seem to have that mentality. And Like, I just
That's
want
it.
someone to come to the Leafs and build that. Like, Matthews kind of, I don't know. Like, I guess I focus on Matthews because he's like the face of this team, and I feel like also he's the only guy that kind of has the ability to play that way. Like, it's hard to ask Marner to be Marchand because that's just like a style of hockey that's just very rare. But Matthews has the ability to build a culture here in Toronto, and I just think that it's something that's missing. Like, I just don't
Yeah.
feel it, you know.
Yeah.
And even though I hate Boston so much, I can't help but just love what they've built there as a culture.
Respect
And
them.
it's respect that it's just year after year. It doesn't matter. They're having like rookie centermen play in their lineup, and they just seem to be able to get it done. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Hate
it
but
exactly.
respect. So Reeves lays the hit on young Matty Poitras, but no real response for the Liljegren incident. We all kind of expected there would be with Reeves drawing in, but not the case, obviously. I didn't know what to expect, and the game was kind of a lame duck. Like, there were goals. It ended what is it, 3-2, 4-3, right in the end, because of overtime. But like it was lame. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of goals. It wasn't high scoring. It wasn't super physical. I didn't see like there wasn't fights. And it just seems to be that Boston used to bully Toronto because they knew they could. And then all of a sudden Toronto wanted to push back, and Boston went, yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Right.
They just
Yeah.
kind of stopped responding to the Leafs. The Leafs, it's like they got under the Leafs' skin, a group of like 15 or 16 different players. They got under those guys' skin years ago, and they're still just upset every time they play the Bruins, and the Bruins just won't engage. New guys on both teams. That's my whole point. Like, it's just an organizational thing. Like, these guys, the Leafs are clearly upset and want something. Like, Leafs fans even more than the team, but it never seems to come to it. Like, I remember when Boston would come to town and say 2018 or 2019, you would see that and you would be like, oh, it's going to be a banger game tonight. It's a banger game, right? Like, tonight the Leafs are going to throw hits. They don't throw a lot of hits, but tonight they will. And you noticed it. Like, you have to remember that, right, CP? Way
Oh,
back
definitely.
in those games, they never threw hits. Boston comes to town, all of a sudden, everybody's crashing and banging, and I loved it. And that just doesn't seem to happen. It seems to be like the Leafs kind of try to initiate, but they're not very good at stirring up the pot and getting Boston going. Boston's just like, man, so it never gets physical to the altercation. Where when that was Boston's game, they always flipped it around onto Toronto and took advantage of them for that. Like, not only are they pricks, they're super disciplined.
Yeah.
They don't play with emotion. Where the Leafs do.
Stone cold.
Like, when the Leafs get like all riled up and someone like just puts a hand on their face, it's like, oh my god, and it throws off their entire game. But you do it to Boston, and they just skate away, and it's just like, oh, wait, like, I was trying to get you going there, but they're just like, no, I don't care, and
Yeah.
there's something about that.
Well, and it goes. I think it translates to the whole organization and the culture too. With you can't shake them up. They lose a guy like Bergeron retires. Does it shake up their? No, not even a bit. Like, we thought all the changes that came to Boston were going to be changes on the stats, and it would look like a way different year. And they're just that team again. Yeah, night in, night out, and even in the moments. Like, how do you shake them up?
I don't know.
No,
You
they
gotta
set. They're
go at
setting the
you
tone.
gotta go at Marchand, man. You gotta do something stupid. You gotta get a couple of guys on there who are willing to just be idiots. Honestly, that is my dead opinion. Like, you're here for a reason. Like, I mean, maybe like I'm too stuck in the late 90s, early 2000s hockey, but like, send a guy out there to be a fucktard and go and smash around some people and get off the ice. and do what he's got to do, and you played 3.5 minutes, and this may be the only game you play this season, but you sent a fucking message during the game you were supposed to.
Yeah.
Right?
Well-
This happened, and like, you did something dirty, and everybody's gonna write in the papers about you, and all of a sudden us fans like it a little bit, and like, we're like, oh, well, let's see. As long as he didn't fucking sever his spine or something, like, good. Fuck that guy up.
Well, if Reeves is only going to play every other game, can he just take a 1-game suspension every single game? Because
Might as
he goes
well.
out there and he hardly does anything, right? Like,
I
go
know
and
he
do
should be doing more
something.
shit. Yeah, he should.
Yeah.
I fully fucking agree to that. Like, what are you doing here? What is your job here if you're not going out there and causing havoc and causing like he got a little hit on Poitras, but like what was that? What is that? Go and like Keith, I want you to play Reeves against Marchand and I want them to hound him. And I don't even care. I just want you to grab him and I want you to get thrown out of the game because you wrestled him to the ground. And then I want you to send another. And then I want you to play with 3 lines and an extra. Just fucking do it all night. Run. 2 guys just go and dominate him physically, mess his night up. Pasta 2. You know why Pasta 2? Not even Marchand, because Pasta didn't do anything. And that's the whole point of it. Well, why are you going at him? He didn't do anything. That's where we want to get them mad. Not Marchand. Oh, well, Marchand earned it. You know, that's his game. So the rest of the team doesn't respond. Go at somebody else. Take Matty Poitras once. Go and do it again.
Yeah.
Go and do it again. Grab his head and just throw it. Just stand in there. Just like take a penalty. Do something stupid. Whack him in the shins. Like, and I'm not going to saying like cross-check him in the throat or break his anything. I'm saying do annoying, stupid shit to this guy the whole time. Stop playing hockey. Like just when you're out there, just go out there and you get like 15 or 20 seconds. Fuck with him and get off. That is your job. Like I understand it's hockey and whatever, but when you're playing against like other fourth lines and you're not going out and making an impact anyways, maybe put him out for 2 or 3 shifts. And in those 2 or 3 shifts, hope to God you can keep the puck out of your net while he goes and whacks somebody and does something stupid and maybe causes a line brawl. Like, I have no idea what the answer is, but that was certainly not it. And it's just not the fucking character that we need to see from the team.
Yeah.
So after 2, the Domi line was brutal tonight. After 2, they had a 17.25 expected goals percentage. That's bad.
Bad.
So I don't know what to say about that line, keeping it together, except for in the third, they pulled it all together because Domi ended up getting his first. So they were at 52% to end the game. But after 2, we had 17.25 for the Domi line. The Marner line was at 93% expected goals for. And the Matthews line, 84%. Both, like, super great, like, amazing, right? And I just want to point out that the fourth line after 2 was 23% expected goals. So they had more expected goals than the Domi line. So they were better defensively versus offensively typed. Oh, it's really bad. So monkey off Domi's back, obviously, right? Like, this is what I was talking about last episode. We needed to see a Domi goal. That's great. That's a start. Next game, he needs a stupid bounce to go in. That was the pretty one. That gets your confidence up. Now you need to feel lucky. Yeah. Once those 2 things come together, I think Max Domi might be able to put it together as a player and hit that 45, 50-point range that we all think he can. Maybe even plus 50 points if Nick Robertson and Calle Jarnkrok start clicking with him and those 3 become a more dominant line. And obviously at the end of the game was only 52%, but that's still a win. If you can get that up to 56, 58, even 60%, and you're winning your minutes all the time, shooting percentages maybe go up, get a few lucky bounces. Who knows? That's all I'm saying, right? Like the stats look like they could point a couple in that direction and just a couple of little things changing. And that line, we could be looking back and being, oh yeah, that's super effective. And that's what I'm saying. Like, nice to see Domi get that pretty one tonight, but he needs to get a lucky one in the next, and it has to be the next game. If he doesn't, honestly, like, I'm not sure how much that goal tonight does for Domi. Maybe even just like if he plays a really good game, I think that might even frustrate him more if he doesn't score next game. Like, he's got to do it again and feel like he's getting that sway. Even if he doesn't score after those 2 games and just has a couple of games in a row, I think it's going to start to really fall into line for Max Domi if he scores again on a lucky one in the next game.
I'd like to see him to be winning more shifts though. Like, it's nice to get, like, tonight he got a kind of a breakout from his own end, but it started in his own end. That's like where they were. So like the 17% goal percentage, like, that's how it feels to me. And I just like, I don't even care if he gets one next game. I just want to see like that 52% that he ended at the end of the game. I don't want it to be all in the third period. Like, let's see like it can kind of more consistent, winning more shifts. Robertson's got to play a little bit better in his own zone. Just
Yeah.
as a group
Can
of
eat my
them,
words.
yeah, they just need to be better. So regardless if they get a goal or not, if they're not gonna at least win more shifts, then I think you might need to like Gregor might get a chance on that third line.
Gregor needs to be moved up the lineup. And I mean, like, Yarncroke, I think the Yarncroke, Domi, Robertson thing should be Yarncroke, you found your spot. That is your home now. You are the third line right winger. That is what you are. That is who you are on this team. That is what you are. That is your spot. Just as well as Austin Matthews is our first line center. And then you start using Gregor as that guy up and down and all over the lineup. I don't know what it is about Keefe not liking him or whatever. Because why is he still not doing that at this point in the season?
Do you think that's what it is?
What?
You think like because I feel like he just hasn't had quite the chance. Like Keefe's been reluctant to split away from parent to trios, but do you think he's like not really a fan of him?
Well, I think that if he was a fan of him, like Cal Yarncroke, then he would put him everywhere because we haven't seen him moved. Trios not so much. I think you are pretty much right on the fact that Sheldon Keefe likes his sets, but it's usually duos. It's usually duos and you flip a guy in, right? So he likes a Matthews Marner, a Nylander Tavares, those duos together. I think the next duo should be Domi Yarncroke, right? Offensive, defensive. Offensive passer and a defensive goal scorer. It's great. It's a perfect match, and then you need a third on their line. If Nick Robertson, who is awesome and on paper would be a great filler, doesn't work out, then I think Noah Gregor takes the spot. And if the second line's struggling, which it doesn't ever seem to be anymore, if we're going to call the Tavares Marner line the second line, except for we'll get to that. Anyways, then you can put Gregor there. I would throw him on the ice like Kipper suggested today. Throw him on the ice for a couple of shifts with Matthews. I'm not exactly suggesting you play him every game there, like expect him to go line rushes and stuff, but try it out. He's a hound, right? Like he goes and he gets pucks and he can shoot the puck in the net. He's super fast. Like, I don't know. It just seems like a guy that like you should just see what you have in him. Cause like, what if he only wants $2 million next year? And it's like, well, maybe Gregor's a guy. Like that's a guy we should be keeping. And we don't know that. And he's already here and he fits. And what are we just going to try and find the next Gregor? Well, what if he's better than that because he played for San Jose and he kind of had an opportunity. He's got NHL games. And now what if we can get him his scoring touch? Let's find that. We've given that to people like Ilya Mikheyev, right? Like he's pretty much Ilya Mikheyev 2.0 as everybody keeps pointing out. So like, I think you should just give him a shot everywhere and see where he sticks. Like, I mean, you know, some people like Robertson, if Robertson was playing right now in a third line role and that third line was a checking line, he'd be in the AHL.
Yeah. I mean, he might already be heading there, but continue.
Everybody on the fourth line, like everybody be screaming, you don't put Nick Robertson on the fourth line. That's not his spot, right? He's either got to play in an offensive role in the top six or he's not there. But now we have this offensive third line and he's kind of gotten an opportunity. But if Gregor can move up and down the lineup and get a scoring touch, then what if he ends up taking a spot like that? And then maybe you move on from Nick Robertson. Maybe Nick Robertson takes in somebody else's spot and moves somebody else down the lineup. Who knows and whatever, but I think you have to try it just because he never looks bad. I have to go check the stats on that, but he never looks bad. He looks defensively good, really fast, and he shoots the puck. And that's what I like. I mean, he's not a playmaker. I'll give him that, but like he shoots the puck. Playing with Domi could really help, right? Imagine breakaways with Domi on your line. Like, he'd be gone. Maybe like Michael Grabner, get like 50 breakaways in a year and score on 5 of them or 6 of them. But it'd be awesome. That'd be 5 or 6 more goals from Noah Gregor.
Yeah, and to me, Robertson doesn't look great when he's below his blue line. There's a lot of movement going on and a lot of action, but he's never taking a puck away. And then once he gets past his own blue line, he's great. You know, like there's hard to complain about much because he's deep on pucks. He's a guy, he can make a nice pass. Like, didn't he get the assist on the Robertson goal, or was that Yarncroke? I think it was
I'm
actually.
not quite sure.
I think it was Robertson. So yeah, like he has the ability once the puck is on his own team stick, but I just don't think he does much in his own zone. And so other than there's a lot of movement going on, which can be helpful, like, you know, even on a like you need your wingers to be chasing pucks, but if you're never getting to one, then what's it matter?
Yeah, he seems to be one of those guys that's not very much of a like I don't know if this is maybe just his designated role, but he runs around and like everybody else kind of plays zone and covers everybody else, and then he chases the puck. No matter who has it, he chases it. And Robertson kind of reminds me of the same thing. So I guess maybe those guys wouldn't like. I mean, Gregor and Robertson wouldn't be great on the line together, right? Robertson and I don't know. Like I could see it.
If you could snap your fingers right now and move Gregor to the third, and Robertson becomes a good defenseman, would you take it?
Robertson's not a defenseman, Steve Dangle.
Yeah, but if you could take him and just snap your fingers,
Oh, instead he becomes a good defenseman.
and he becomes one, possibly if it was
it's going to cost more than that, but yeah, yes, yes, actually, yeah, you might be right, yeah, and it's going to be sad because like I remember at the beginning of the year saying like Robertson just needs his chance, and like Robertson looks good, you know, like he does, he looks good a lot, he just looks bad a bunch too, which isn't. It's right. It's a fine line. Like he's a high event player.
For sure,
Robertson is. You really notice his whole shifts when he's out there, and it's great because like it seems like Yarncroke is really the only one who isn't on that line. So that line is always a boom. So, but it can be a boom or a bust is kind of the thing.
Yeah.
And I think if you put Gregor on there with Yarncroke, and if Gregor can, you know, get some more opportunity, maybe put a couple pucks in the net and give me the feeling that he could. Put it more in, then I would sit here and vouch for him to take that line. Because imagine Gregor, Domi, and Yarncroke. That's defensively sound. That sounds pretty good to me. Like I see no issues with that at all, in my opinion. You got guys that can skate and move the puck. Get on, do your thing, get off, and if you guys can get some offensive upside, awesome. That is what we need out of that line, is some offensive upside with some grinding in there, right? And like Noah Gregor can get heavy in on the forecheck and be quick and whatever. So moving on, I just want to get through this because we're getting through time here. We had what I thought was the game-winning goal by Frederick, scored at 6 minutes and 50 seconds. It was a greasy one in the paint, and that Trent Frederick is a big boy. That's really not the whole point of what I want to get into, is that I thought after that this game was done. There really wasn't, as we spoke about earlier, that jump where they didn't start on time. Man, I get Matthews put 2 in the net, and you had Domi goal that got, like, Matthews scored with like a couple of seconds, 5 seconds left, and he scored earlier in the game, and that's awesome. But it felt pretty sleepy from the Leafs. Like, it was a sleepy Leafs game from the start right to the end. Like, at no point did it look like, oh, wow, they're really snapping it around out there. Like,
neither was Boston, though, too. Like, it was kind of a sleepy game, I thought. Like, neither team was really crisp except for, like, the couple chances that Boston had, and they capitalized on them. Like, that's basically, I mean, like, I'll be honest here with the viewers. I was watching on my little phone while I was at a Christmas dinner, but through my tiny little phone camera screen, that's just how I don't know. It felt both ways that neither team was coming up with much, and just anything that the Leafs came up with wasn't happening, and Boston just seemed to get a couple goals on, like, especially one that, like, I didn't think should have gone in, and the last one was just like a little bit crazy. So,
yeah, and they needed a greasy one. Like, both teams.
That's how you win the late game.
Next one.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's how you win in late games. You know, it's like you need greasy goals to win lots of hockey games.
Yeah, it was nice. Matthews took game-tying goal with 5 seconds left. when I liked that. I mean, all grease around the net, it's all a mess, and not everybody's just jamming. Matthews has the foresight to say, get back, and then Marner finds the open man, Matthews, and he just snipes it. Doesn't hammer it or anything, just grabs it, snipe, back of the net. It's a complete dog and pony show, like absolute dog's breakfast in the paint there, and it goes in, and I just thought, oh, it's gonna be goalie interference. Oh, it's a good goal. Okay, we're good. Holy smokes, because I wasn't 100%, and I just figured 5 seconds, and like you get your hopes up. Isn't that like the mantra with this team? Let's get their hopes up so we can let them down.
I was honestly still in full celebration, and then like I look over at the TV and I see that like it's being reviewed, and I was just like, oh. Like just from full scream to dead silent, and then waited. I was like, yeah.
That's great.
I know. I like. Anyways, so Joseph Woll tonight, he played well, I guess, but like I don't even think he's the problem. I don't know, like he's just not. Let me hear my point. He's 37th in goals saved above average. Okay, so like the whole expected goals, and so shots that you would think are supposed to be a goal, he's saved it above the average goalie. He's 37th in that ranking. That's every team's got a goalie better than that. Some teams may have two. Yeah, right. So that's like our best goalie right now. Still isn't great. Like, I mean, I get you don't need great goaltending, but like maybe this team does. Like this team is going to need great goaltending. He's 22nd in high danger save percentage. So like when it is high danger, he is, I guess, amongst the starters in the league, but he's not the best in any sort or stretch of the imagination. Like as much as I don't want to say Joseph Woll's the problem, Joseph Woll is certainly not the savior, and everybody keeps praising him. Oh yeah, Joseph Woll's winning these games, and Joseph Woll's winning these games. Well, it's great and that's awesome, but like if that's the style we're going to play, we need a goaltender who's not going to give up goals in some of the fashions that I've seen him give them up. Now, I haven't seen people like Sorokin or somebody like Prime Vasilevsky last year lose their net in crucial moments like Joe Woll does. He knows exactly where his net is 99.9% of the time. And it's like that whole clutch thing. Can you be clutch? Like, what is it? Like, he doesn't crack, he doesn't pressure. But why is it always in inopportune moments that when the Leafs need a save, it doesn't matter what goalie it is. This can go for Ilya Samsonov too. They can't get a save. They can't get a save in the clutch. He seems to know, and he seems to get there, and he's good enough. He's not the problem, and I had to frame that as the beginning because I know he's not the issue. But like, if the Leafs are going to play this tight style where they need to take it to overtime in most of these games, they need a goaltender that's going to be first to 10th in the fancy stats categories in a whole bunch of them, for me to be like, that's okay and sustainable. Because right now, all I see is fluky wins, and they deserve to lose tonight.
I felt like tonight was shutout night because the Boston Bruins only had 7 high danger chances. The Leafs had 16. So I feel like
I know,
like it might not look like it right on the surface, but the first goal, like I know it's Pasternak that's shooting it, but it's from way downtown. Like that's a shot that needs to be saved. I know that he faced a bunch of shots, but the ones that are going in, like it's like I don't know, like just because you save 10 doesn't give you an automatic you allow one in, right? And so like, and that just seems like what it was. It's like that wasn't any harder than the other saves. Like save that, you know. I don't know. I felt like if Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, Sorokin, any of them are in net tonight, like it's probably a shutout for the Maple Leafs.
And that's kind of was my whole point. So I'm glad you got on the same page with me there, CP. Joseph Woll's not a bad goalie, and he has stolen a few moments for the Leafs, but And he's normally, like we've been saying, we just need a goalie who makes the saves when he needs to make the saves, and like just make a normal save. It's because that was a Achilles heel for the Leafs. Like if you can't, it's just a regular plopper in from the point, and that's the one that goes in. High danger chances, 18, stopped all of them, or 17 of 18. But he lets in 2 flubbers from the point, and the Leafs lose 4-3. Like, give me a break. I need a little bit more clutchness if this is the style we're going to play. Otherwise, like, maybe shift it up to a point where you're going back to the earlier point in the season where you're scoring 6 and 7 goals a night, because I much
7-5.
prefer that hockey myself. Like 7-5's fine. I'm fine with that. But like that has to be something you commit to, right? Like obviously they want to keep the puck out of their net, but if they can't keep the puck out of their net, like let's just play a style where we can score goals, because what is this team supposed to be known for? Offensive prowess. Yeah, the whole time that they've been here, they've been forced into learning the defensive side of things. They've been forced into doing it. Matthews wasn't drafted because he's an amazing defensive forward. Okay, he was drafted because he can rip the puck in the net. Marner wasn't drafted because he's an amazing defensive forward. That is the one gift Mike Babcock gave to the franchise. He said, I'm going to make Mitch Marner the best defensive forward in the league.
Yeah.
Right? These guys are offensively skilled, and that is their bread and butter. If they're not going to get this goaltending, maybe switch things up and push a little bit more offense. And maybe not every line has to do that, but push some styles and just change some things up a little bit where maybe you're taking more chances to do that. Like, I wish that they had a more of a shutdown type fourth line that the Bruins used to have, where they could play it against the first or second lines that were really good. And then that would free up one of those lines to go play against a lesser talent. And then somebody like Austin Matthews could cheat. And how nice would it be to see Austin Matthews on the ice and he just looks around and he goes, oh, well, it looks like there's nobody in the ice I can't beat. I'm going to Nate McKinnon it from one end to the other. And Nate McKinnon does it all the time.
Yep.
Hasn't this year as much. Actually, he's leading the league in the 20-mile-an-hour speed burst. But it'd be nice to see that happen. Just boof, he's gone. A little confidence, a little go, a little cheat. Play a little more where you're going to score some more goals. Because it seems to be like Marner's got a conscience, and that's great. He's defensively sound, and so is Matthews. But they're getting the matchups against the top line every single night. And if they don't have the goaltending to back up these low-scoring games that they're trying to put themselves in, and the third line's not really scoring, right, it just gets to a point where you're like, okay, maybe something's got to change so that way I can believe a little more. Obviously, I don't run the show, and I have no idea what they're thinking and what they may do going forward. But I can't be the only one watching this going, something's not quite right here. Like, I think a trade or something is going to come up here soon, because there's just something not quite right about this team, where they just aren't clicking and winning and dominating and really like pushing the identity that they are. Like, are they a defensively sound team, but they can't keep pucks out of their net? Like, how can you be like that? But like, you're a high scoring team, but you can't score. Like, what the fuck are the Toronto Maple Leafs this year is what I'm just trying to figure out at this point. I'm pretty frustrated with it, if you can't tell.
I think something that's key that you said was confidence, and that ties into everything we've talked about, the slow starts, the clutchness in the goalie and the forwards. Confidence, right, is key, and you said it yourself. I think, and where does that come from, right? If they can source that problem, like, where is confidence? And that leads into the culture and all that too. Is it from the coaching? Is it from the big players that should be the leaders? That's my take as an outsider, as a team that does have a good culture. Is roll your eyes. If they can source that problem of where the confidence is not coming from or whatever, things are going to turn around. You're going to see that.
You know, Webby and I couldn't have more polarizing pictures of what we want a hockey team to be, because like Webby likes goals, and it's kind of like, I understand.
I'm good either way. I'm just saying, pick a fucking lane.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
I just can't.
They're trying to play
get
this
on-
way right now, and it's not working. So, like, if you want to do that, then maybe get a goalie and get some fucking defenders that can play that way.
Yeah.
Because right now you've trained your forwards to play that way, and it's not working because they aren't scoring enough fucking goals to make up for all the problems. I get like we're missing half our defense core, but like if our forwards aren't out there scoring 6 goals, we're probably gonna lose 5-4. I'm just saying that's what it seems to look like every fucking night now.
Yeah, I also think that if this team is completely healthy, the defense core isn't good enough to be a shutdown defense core anyway. So like
No.
you either have to go kind of the way you're talking, where it's like, okay, let's just go all offense, just like that Edmonton reporter said. Do you want to win 2-1 or do you want to win, or do you want to lose 2-1 or do you want to win 6-5? And it's like, fine, let's just win 6-5. But to me, like, let's just trade someone, like get someone off this roster and let's get a true number one defenseman. Make Morgan Riley a second defenseman. And then this team just becomes a whole different picture,
Or what would be great? Like Morgan Riley has played out of his mind this year. He's playing
For
very
sure.
well, and we could call him a true number one. Let's get a true number two. Let's not go like, oh well, who's our second best defense? Well, maybe it's TJ Brody. Well, maybe it's gonna be Timmy Lill's gonna step up and take the number two. Is gonna be this year. Maybe it's gonna be Jake McCabe is gonna be our second best defenseman. Maybe John Klingberg, as we all say in July, might be the second best defenseman on the Leafs this year. Who knows? I don't even need a number one guy. I just need somebody as good or almost as good as Riley. Like the whole Ekblad Montour thing that you were talking about. I know we talked about that. Like I'm really starting to come around to that. Like get me some Brandon Montour on this team. Some sort of version of that. A guy who just consistently wins his minutes and is threatening. I don't know what to say anymore, but like pick a lane, man. Pick a fucking lane. You're either going to play defensively and we're going to win like 3-2, or let the horses out of the barn and let them go, because you guys do not have the goaltending and defense to sustain this to win. And I'm sitting here supporting and watching it and latching my life onto it, making a show about it. But it's like frustrating as all hell when you just want to see a winning product on the ice, spending money into it and investing your time. Like I can see that. How come the guys that are smarter than me can't see that whatever they're doing isn't working? The last point that I want to make is that we had in this after 2, the Domi line was 17% expected goals for. Marner line was 93 expected goals for. Matthews line 84 expected goals for. The fourth line was 23 expected goals for. With 2 minutes left in the third, the Matthews line went from 84 to 77%. The Marner line went from 93% to 34%. That's unfucking real.
Yeah.
The third line evened themselves out, right? They were down 17, so they got back to 52%. Then the fourth line with Reeves was 23%. The fourth line without Reeves and Yarncroke in his place was only 3 minutes and 4 seconds. They were 100% expected goals for. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If we can get a guy to come in and make that third line better, and we can drop down to have Yarncroke on that fourth line, oh shit.
All
Now
right.
we can put them out of bounds. Because you don't need to be 100% expected goals for, okay? I'll give you a little leeway. You don't have to play against fourth lines anymore. Why don't we try you against the higher competition so that way we can make our matchups better at home, take a little bit of advantage, and whatever have you, right?
Well-
it would be nice for them to play more. It would be nice to be like, I'm fine with them playing 12 minutes a night. Like, like that's on the high end. But like, it'd be nice to be on my fourth line playing 12 minutes when it's like, say it's Gregor, Kampf, and Yarncroke. Like, sure. If they're going to play that well, and like I absolutely want that. The other half of this point is like, how the fuck do you go with Marner and Tavares and Bertuzzi, and you were so good at one point, and all of a sudden it's, they really tanked the end of the game there.
I like that's hard to even believe, but I think on the point of the Kampf and the Yarncroke fourth line, I'll call it. Isn't that basically their third line from last year? It was like, because it was Kerfoot, Kampf, and Yarncroke, right? And they did great. That was a great third line all of last year. And then they got bumped down based on Ryan O'Reilly coming in and others being added to the team. But I think like Yarncroke and Kampf together have been proven to be sustainable and be able to be matched up with pretty good guys. Like Kampf has taken,
And
a
you know who
slight
worked
step.
really well with them? Ilya Mikheyev. Ilya Mikheyev
right.
2.0.
Yeah, we got 2.0
And-
now.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So like
This
maybe
is
that
it.
is what we
That's
see.
it. That's the one. That is
Yeah.
the line right there. So you need a third liner. Like you need a guy, or like, I mean, I'm not out of the
can be
way
your
to
third
say
line.
yeah, you could make that your third line, but then what do you have as like a fourth line, like Domi and
Mail it in.
and
I don't know.
you just mail it in.
Yeah.
Just play like 3 and
Put Reeves
Extra
and let's trade
defenseman.
for the 2 other biggest guys and you just go
Nick
wreck
Delorier.
shit. Yeah.
yeah.
You go
And
wreck
who can
shit
play
for 2
center.
minutes a game. I don't even care.
Yeah, who can play center that throws? Like I can't even remember.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, well, one of those guys. Yeah, that would make sense. Anyways, yeah, like I say, fuck, this whole theme of this episode is the Leafs need to pick a lane, and stick with it and play a full fucking game. It's so annoying talking about this over and over again.
Yeah.
But like, it seems to be we don't talk about it for an episode. They win, and maybe they'll get 2 in a row. We don't talk about it, and then all of a sudden we're back.
Yeah.
Same old problems, same old stuff. Like I'm watching other teams in the league, and I watch some teams blow it too. It's never with the same intensity or pizzazz that the Leafs seem to do it. Like I'm really sick of watching these comeback games. I'm really sick of them. So anyways, I think that's where we wrap it up, unless you have any more thoughts to finish it.
No, I think I'm good.
All right, awesome. So thanks anybody for tuning in live. We're getting the hell out of here. We'll be back for an episode for Monday.
Yeah.
Full episode talking the rest of the league. We will catch you all then on YouTube, Spotify, all your podcasting platforms. Until then, peace.
Peace.
Peace.